Hey everybody, Necroxis here. I just wanted to make a not very short, but a short video about a couple things, two actually, that I think were interesting and you might want to know about. The first is that I just got through finished watching an interview that Ghostcrawler and another dev, I can't remember who it was, did with some gaming companies over in Korea. And about halfway through the interview, it's about an hour long. I'm going to link it down below just so you can watch it yourself if you want. About halfway through, they were asked if the devs were all polled about who they feel should be the next war chief, or if we're going to see the next war chief at the end of 5.4. Ghostcrawler responded and basically flat out said that the end of 5.4 and 5.4 in general is supposed to be all about just dethroning Garrosh himself. And he said that we're not, as the players, are not going to actually see the new war chief until a little bit later on. And basically that combined with Rathion's audio from his epilogue, to me, is pretty much a confirmation that the rumored patch 5.5 that some people, including myself, thought were going to happen is actually a thing that's going to happen. Because Ghostcrawler says, it's going to be shown in a future Mists of Pandaria patch. And if 5.4 is the last final rating patch, which in that final interview they do confirm that it is the last final rating patch in Mists of Pandaria, then there has to be some kind of interim patch to, finish the story up for the expansion, which I'm personally fine with. So it seems like this all makes sense now, because I've been wondering as this has been going on, no one has made a reference to who the actual new war chief is. Thrall doesn't say anything, Garrosh doesn't say anything for whatever reason. If he would have, Vol'jin's sound files are still not in the game. Even Rathion's epilogue, which would have been the most telling, it should have said, I can't believe Varian let X as the new war chief. He just says, I can't believe Varian allowed another war chief. So that pretty much confirms 5.5 is going to be the war chief patch. And while I do think that is supremely important for a Horde player and the Horde's factions at lore, 5.5 really needs to conclude a lot of alliance things as well. And my worry is that Blizzard's just not going to do it, because multiple devs now on Twitter have been mentioning that there are at least one person they keep bringing up who is not happy with what Varian does in 5.4 at the end is Jaina. It's clear that Jaina obviously does not want Varian to allow another war chief. But there are other lesser-known players, too, if you think about it. Second would be Tyrande. I can't believe that Tyrande Whisperwind would allow or want another war chief, because her lands have been getting raped and pillaged and burned for an expansion and a half now. A third person could be Gen Greymane. I know it's the Forsaken who have been invading his lands, but you figured the Alliance would have been like, okay, leave Gilneas or we're going to destroy Orgrimmar from within with all our forces that happen to just be right here in your capital. But frankly, I don't think Gen's going to actually be in this. He's not in the 5.4 story thus far, and I really doubt he'd be in 5.5. Another lesser-known or second-tier character for the Alliance would be Skymore Rogers, who personally I really love. She's basically the Alliance's mirror of General Nazgrim. And like I said in my first sound file theory crafting, I was fine with Nazgrim dying because I felt like that's as far as his character could go. I would feel the exact same way with Skymore Rogers. At least have a conclusion to her story. She should at the very least be in 5.4. Even if she died, I'd be fine with it. But since there's no sound files from her yet in the game, I'm assuming she's not going to be in it, or if she is, she'll just be an NPC that just stands there and is part of the background. But she would also obviously have an opinion about that. So while 5.5 is obviously going to be important to the Horde, in most ways, I think it's going to be much more important to the Alliance, at least from Blizzard's perspective, to address the Alliance's concerns. Because there's all of these things where they've been telling us, the Alliance is supposed to feel like justification in invading Orgrimmar and deposing Garrosh. We do in one respect, but it completely fails to address everything else the Horde has done to the Alliance. I'm sorry, Horde players and Horde role players or people who follow the lore but are favorite to the Horde. You're not allowed to just whitewash everything that's happened all on Garrosh. You can probably do like Theramore, even though I would challenge that notion myself and say other people could have stepped up and told Garrosh that's wrong, which they have, but they could have stopped him in some regard, but they didn't. I would challenge that, but you could at least offer that argument. The Alliance players we've been shit on. Cataclysm, we just got dumped all over in 1 through 60, the new updated quests. So there needs to be some response to that, and some response to the Alliance players overwhelmingly rejecting Blizzard's notion that sieging Orgrimmar is somehow an Alliance victory, because it's not. I'm still waiting for my fist pump moment there, guys. I don't know if it's ever going to come, but if Siege of Orgrimmar is as much as we're going to get, then I'm going to be really disappointed. So that's that. I find that interesting. It's kind of breaking news and confirmation, so I'll put that link down below, like I said. The second thing, I know I've been talking about this in a couple places thus far, but I am involved in an online D&D campaign set in the Firefly and Serenity universe, and my character's episode has finally come. Episode 4 is when my character, Caden, shows up, and he's in the series for the rest of it. I'm in every episode after. So if you want to watch that, excuse me, I have, if you click my hand, I'm going to see if this works this time. I will put a link to episode 4, which is the one where I am introduced, but I personally, as the player, come in. And then you can watch the 3 episodes before if you haven't. I strongly recommend it. It's really fun. We just recorded something on Sunday, which was, it turned into like the beginning of a new story arc, but then the end like really twisted into like a Caden episode. Like the end of it was like Caden's backstory just comes out of nowhere. I didn't plan it. I didn't know anything else was going on, but I really liked it. So stay tuned for that. But yeah, click on my hand to go watch that. Otherwise, that's about it. Thanks for watching, everybody. My name is Necroxis, and I will see you next time for whatever Warcraft lore I decide to explore, because there's always more to explore, like I like to say. And I hope you do that with me. Farewell.